Let's dive into Inventor's copy component tool, available for you in the assembly environment. It is a simple feature that can save you time and effort. This copy command creates a copy or a new instance for selected assembly components. It behaves much like Mirror but is simpler. After starting the command, which I will do from the ribbon, you select the components you want to work with in the graphics window or browser. The selected components list in the dialog. The first step is setting the status. If I expand the dialog, I can see that Reuse Standard Content and Factory Parts is enabled, meaning that Inventor automatically tags standard type parts, like those coming from the Content Center, for reuse. We typically just want to reuse these anyway. Use the status to set the action for the components. You can set this on the assembly or to a subset of components. Here I click on the status button for the Arbor Press assembly. Notice that it, along with all its subcomponents, is now set for reuse, shown by the yellow plus. I can toggle through the status by clicking the button again. I can also use the buttons along the top of the dialog. Exclude the gray slash leaves the component out during the copy operation. Copy creates a duplicate of the component. Each copy component is saved as a new file, which is not associative to the source file. And reuse, the yellow plus, inserts an instance of the component. This means it is not unique, and it will change if other instances are changed. If you change the status of a subcomponent, Inventor automatically changes the status of its assembly to copy. At the bottom, notice two more options. With copy relationships, Inventor attempts to apply the constraints and joints between the existing components to the copy components. It does not, however, copy relationships to components that are not included in the copy operation. Enable the Ground New Components option to ground all the newly copied components. After clicking Next, you set the names and locations for the new components. You can manually type the display and file names. I will instead build a template for the display name, starting by inserting the date day as a prefix to the file name. Since today is July 26th, the number 26 will be added. To the file name, let's add the assembly name. This can be useful to show where the new components came from. And I will remove the CPY and put a dash between the attributes. The file location is currently set to source path, meaning the same location as the originals. I could use the user path option to set the file location for the copied components, but we'll set it to workspace to set the file location to be the workspace of the active project. Let's click OK to complete the operation. And pick a location for our new subassembly. Let's make a change to one of the components. I will double-click on the new assembly, and then double-click the lever, and adjust its extrusion length, and change its appearance to pink. When returning to the top level, notice how our changes to the lever did not affect the original. You use copy components to quickly duplicate existing parts or subassemblies within your assembly while creating independent file references or reusing existing ones. It saves time by preserving component relationships and allowing you to place identical structured subassemblies.